So this pose is really good for strengthening your core muscles, but actually encouraging the core muscles to work again. So particularly for women after they've had babies, what tends to happen is these whole core muscles and abdominal areas, they switch off and they forget how to work. And this is a really good basic exercise to turn these core muscles on again and to encourage them and teach them how to support the spine in a healthy way. So as we know, it's really important to build up our strength in our core muscles to help have a healthy lower back. So as I mentioned before, often lower back problems are from tight hamstrings, but also from weakness in the abdominal area. So let's do a couple more. What are we up to, guys? I forgot, I'm not counting. We'll do one more after this one, so rolling back down. Great, and last one. Good. So, and just stay here, and I'll join them into sitting. And then we're going to cross the legs over, right leg in front, and Al's going to show us a nice jump back to downward facing dog, or like Eleanor and I, stepping back to downward facing dog. Good. And walking the feet in towards the hands. And rolling up through the spine. Now if you suffer from low blood pressure, just make sure that you roll up through the spine really slowly here, okay? And if you still find that you're feeling dizzy, then you probably need to take it even slower still. Okay, we're going to carry on with some standing poses now to continue to strengthen the legs. So we're going to come into Garudasana, which is eagle pose. So right side, we'll lift up the right leg and we wrap it around the left leg. Now for some of you, you won't be able to get the leg all the way around. So you can see with Al, he can get the leg all the way around, and Ellen is just putting it across, and that's great too. And then we bring the left arm up and we wrap the right arm around. So again, if you can't get the palms together, then you just work them together like so. Okay, so this pose is really good for creating balance and poise. So if you fall out of the pose, don't worry about it. Just take a couple of breaths in Tadasana and then just come back into the pose. So with any balance pose, you need to find a spot on the floor, and that will help you balance and quieten the mind. So a few more breaths here, and then when you're ready, coming out, reaching up towards the sky. Take the feet hip width apart, and we'll come down into Uttanasana, or if you can, holding on to the big toe into Padangustasana, which is hand to big toe pose. So with hand to big toe pose, you can see here with Eleanor, she's got these two fingers and they wrap around your big toe. And if you can't hold the big toes, then that's fine, just either fingertips on the floor, or you can cross the arms over like so, and we'll just remember to change the cross on the other side. And let's rolling up through the spine. Great, nice and slowly, chin to chest, just like we did on the floor, and bringing the head up last so we don't get lots of blood rushing. And then left side for Garudasana, so lifting up the left leg and wrapping it around. And right arm up, and left arm wrapping. So Garudasana, eagle pose. So the hands here are in line with the nose, and the hands are pointing directly up towards the sky. So they're not too far back towards, can you bring your hands back towards your forehead out there like that? So make sure they're parallel. So this is a really good stretch for stretching out your shoulders, and also for creating strength in your leg. So as I showed before, your core is really from here to here. So we need to work on strengthening that, particularly the tops of the thighs, and us women as we get older will all know about that. So lifting up through now, reaching up towards the sky. And coming down again, Padangustasana. So again, either holding onto the big toes or just crossing the arms over. And remember, if you cross the arms over, to change the crossover this time. And rolling up through the spine. And we're going to come into Uhita Padangustasana, hand to big toe pose. So I'll just demonstrate the pose, and then Ellen will show you the variations. So hand to big toe pose, just like we were doing, holding onto the big toe with the finger grip, and then the leg comes straight out the front like so. So Eleanor is going to use a chair and Al's going to use a strap, and we'll start off in Tadasana. So Eleanor's going to use the back of the chair here, but if you're finding even that's too high for you, if your hamstrings are really tight, then you can turn the chair around and use the seat. So you can use whatever height feels comfortable for you. Okay. So when we're ready, always starting off in Tadasana, connecting to our breath, and just lifting the the right leg up. And if you're using the strap, just taking the strap around the ball of the foot. That's it. And if you're using the chair, like Eleanor here, she's got the right leg on the back of the chair. That's it. And Eleanor, if you bring your arms up above the head, yeah. Or you can leave your hands on your hips like Eleanor was doing if this variation is challenging with the arms up. Or Al here, he's got his right hand onto the strap and the left hand onto his hip. So long, smooth and even breaths. Whoa. So again, with your balances, don't worry if you fall out, and if you do a bit of wobbling, these guys have done a lot of yoga and they still wobble around a little bit sometimes, so that's fine. You just find your focus, find your spot on the floor. So again, these poses are really good for strengthening the muscles in our legs and particularly our upper thighs. Long, smooth, even breaths, and they also create centeredness and poise, so you'll notice how focused your mind comes when you do practice standing balances. And let's release. And we're going to just we'll come into the other side. So left leg lifting. So either onto the chair again, hands onto hips. So as I said before, you can either keep your hands on your hips here, with the Eleanor's got her lovely shoulders down her spine, down towards her sacrum, and her underneath leg is straight as well. And then reaching the arms up above the head, or if you're using the strap, and you don't have to have, we've got these yoga straps here, but if you don't have yoga straps at home, then you can just use a belt or your dressing gown cord or whatever you've got handy. And the other hand goes onto the hips. So long, smooth and even breaths. Good. Really stretching out the back of the hamstrings. Now in these balances, the other thing that you need to do in balance poses is to always work the core, and that always helps your balance. So squeezing the side waist in towards the spine, and the side columns or the skin on either side of the navel in towards the belly button. And releasing down. Good. Coming back to Tadasana. And we're going to move, coming back, reaching up towards the sky. Inhale up towards the sky. And coming down to Uttanasana, and I'll move Eleanor's chair out of the way for her. And stepping back to downward facing dog. And we're going to come into Virabhadrasana 1, warrior pose. And we're going to come into this through what's called three-legged dog. So we're going